Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Azat. Welcome to our international educational interview. I'm happy to see you. How are you doing today?
Happy to see you too, Aidar. I'm doing fine. Thanks so much. It's almost 6 p.m. right now in Tokyo, Japan. So I'm enjoying my evening and the weekend itself, basically. That's pretty much it.
That's
How
great.
about you?
I'm great. Right now it's around 12 p.m. I'm in Kuwait right now. So I'm happy to start. Are you ready?
Yeah, always.
All right. So let's start our interview. And the first question is, um, tell us a little bit about yourself. What is your educational and professional background? So we're happy to see that and hear about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm 31 years old. I was born in Kazan, Russia. I've been teaching English ESL language acquisition for more than 8 years. I've been always smitten with languages. I used to speak and study the French language in a better condition, in a better way, but now it's being forgotten. I'm planning to get back to it as soon as I can. I play the guitar in my free time. I love computer games, technologies. Currently, I'm residing in Japan. I'm enjoying this country, enjoying the cuisine and all these, beautiful gardens, clean streets, and very polite people. If I could, I would stay here longer, but unfortunately, I need to move on as my contract is getting to its end. So basically, that's pretty much it. As for my educational background, I um, graduated from the Institute of Social Sciences and Humanities in 2012. I've got the specialist degree. It's like 5 years of education instead of like 4 years of, as many people have a bachelor's degree. It's just 1 year more. Currently, I'm doing my master's to get the American Master of Education in Advanced Teaching by University of the People. Now, what else I can say? In 2016, I went to the UK with you, yeah, and we enjoyed the time together in there, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Exploring London, going to this or that place, speaking English with the British accent. I got several IB trainings, MYP particularly. I've never taught DP or PYP. And actually, in March, I'm planning to start DP Cat 1 just to get myself familiarized with some peculiarities of high school education. That's
I
pretty much
see.
it.
I see. Thank you, Azat. So right now you are in Tokyo and you're doing your international job, right? You're international school teacher.
Yeah, I am an MYP Language Acquisition Teacher for grades 6 and 7. I used to be a DP Extended Essay Advisor, but since the school is actually undergoing some issues, yeah, I'm currently not doing that.
Thank you so much. So could you name one of your professional goal that you accomplished last year, 2020? And do you have a professional goal for next year, for this year?
In 2020, I actually planned to start my master's. So what I did, right, as I was saying before, in 2021, I'm planning to finish my master's. Also, I'm thinking of doing IELTS. I mean, getting through the IELTS course and knowing it's, some some interesting and I would say untrivial parts of it. Well, maybe getting back to my French, I mean, resuming and restoring my knowledge of the French language because I feel ashamed actually that I used to speak it quite well, but I can't even connect several sentences in one big paragraph right now. So that's pretty much it. That is my plan.
Oh, that's great. I think practice makes perfect, if you know what I mean. Yeah, of
Exactly.
course.
That's my motto actually. You are reading my thoughts.
That's great. Now let's talk about your teaching actually. So as a teacher, do you give a second chance to your students? I mean, with the assignments, with the anything that you do in during your lessons?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, if you are familiar with IB, yes, we've got two main concepts. The first one is the formative assessment. The second is the summative assessment. Basically, To be successful in summative assessment, you have to go through several formative assessments, training your skills, getting the knowledge, accumulating your, understanding of the subject. And yes, of course, if any student fails or fails to achieve a high score in a formative assessment, I can give as many chances as possible, as long as a student is happy with the score. But when it comes to summative assessments, no, what done is done, basically. And I always tell my students, no matter how much you fail in formative assessments, as long as you get enough skills and confidence what you can do, don't worry about the summative assessment, because the summative assessment will definitely reflect whatever you've learned in the past. And if it hasn't reflected the way you learn things, you can always try to negotiate. That's what I teach my students. Try to negotiate with your teachers. Try to defend your position. Try to stand out what you've done.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of lifelong skills that will help them to
Definitely,
be
yes.
successful in life. Yeah, I see.
They're bringing the skills to the life, of course. What's the purpose of being super proactive at school if you can't be proactive outside of school? Right?
See. I think it's a great motto, and I see that that's your second phrase, I guess. Do you also learn from your students?
Oh yes, exactly. Ever since I started my international career, yes, I've been traveling quite a while. I've been to Vietnam, now I'm in Japan, and who knows what I will be next year, right? I am a newcomer to any kind of culture I am right now, yes? Basically, when I came to Japan, I knew just a little bit of its customs, cultural aspects, and so on and so forth. And of course, I do ask questions, and my students enlighten me with things I have never known before. For example, they told me lots of things about how to pick a nice place where to live, where to go in terms of like seeing sightseeings and stuff like that, because I'm new to the city too, right? So what's the average price for this or that kind of food? Because as a foreigner, as a gaikokujin, which is a stupid foreigner, yes, in Japanese, I probably can overpay for things I've never experienced before, and so that they enlighten me, they tell me, they guide me. They are my guides, basically. And when I was in Vietnam, so I experienced pretty much the same. Especially I enjoyed working with high school students because they already understood how things were working out, and they could give me some reasonable and some valuable advice about what I should do in Vietnam and what I shouldn't do in Vietnam.
I see.
Well,
I think that I'm learning a new word today. Can you repeat again what's that word about the foreigner in Japan?
Gaikokujin.
All right, I will try to remember that word. All right.
Just say gaijin.
Gaijin. All right, I'll try.
It's translated as stupid foreigner.
All right.
I hope no Japanese will hear us out.
All right, I hope so. Could you describe your professional teacher, your vision about that? How do you see, like, ideal model of being a teacher?
In my opinion, yes, my humble opinion, any teacher should be caring, understanding, should be a risk taker in terms of like trying new things and not to be afraid of making mistakes, and at the same time admitting he or she has made a mistake. That's a very important thing. I've seen so many teachers who made mistakes but never apologized and never admitted that. Even though you just directly point it out, they will never do that, and it's so annoying, right? Especially for the students. Also, the best teacher should try to be an entertainer for the students, because like what's the purpose of coming to school and doing boring exercises, right, every day? The exercises the students do should have some kind of a purpose, right? Should have some kind of a connection to the world they are living, and school is not limited. I mean, their world is not limited by the school only, right?
Sure.
They have to try to get something from the school to be successful in the life. So, and the teacher should be this kind of intermediary Okay, a person who can guide, who can facilitate the learning. Well,
Yeah, I see
I'm
that's a
trying
good.
to be one, but it's not an easy job to do, to be honest with you. It's like this is a constant um, improving session that you have to keep in mind as a teacher.
I see. So you are one of the teachers that always improving yourself, developing your skills, and always
Well,
working.
yeah, I mean, ideally speaking, I want to be one, but of course, I am, as everybody is, I'm lazy in most of the times, and I need nice like kick in the butt, yes, to make me do something. But when you have a goal, oh yeah, that's a good point actually that you um yeah that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just
You
brought
can
up.
talk about your goal actually. That's better.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Whoever you are, right? Whatever you do, no matter if you're a teacher or a doctor or an engineer, you should have a goal. You should have something that guides you, that takes you through all these obstacles you come across every day. If you don't have a goal, your life is pointless. It's not interesting to live, right? And teaching is a lifelong goal, basically, in my opinion, because uh, no matter how long you teach, you will never teach enough, right? You will have more and more students with different backgrounds, with different experiences, and it's always stressful, challenging, but at the same time, very much enjoyable.
So then I have a question now. Do you consider yourself as a successful teacher or school leader? Be
Well,
honest with me.
you know, depending on who I might compare myself with, right? Maybe, and again, maybe I would sound a little bit, pushy and cocky, but maybe comparing myself with teachers who are left behind. Yes, I mean, in terms of like who are still in my country of origins, they are experiencing lots of workload, right? Stress, humiliation sometimes, and at the same time, they they are not paid well. They don't have well-paid jobs in most of the cases. Whereas, if you try hard, if you try to find some ways to get out of the country of your origins, because for all other countries you're an expat teacher, so expat teachers are much more respected. So if we consider the way you asked me about, whether I'm a successful teacher or not, in this way, yes, I am successful, but I'm not successful enough to call myself a successful teacher.
I see. I see. I think that that's the first phrase that I'm learning from you, and that's the third motto. All right. Thank you, Azad. That's great.
Which one can you please
You're challenging me. All right. I'll tell you. So you are not ready enough to call yourself successful because you are not going to compare yourself with other teachers that are already in the world, in the expat world. Is that
yes,
right?
that's correct.
All right. All right. So now let's go back to school, and could you tell me how the ideal school should look like in terms of organization, in terms of leadership, team, in terms of how colleagues talk to each other, and of course, tea and coffee. So, what do you think? How the school should ideally look like from your perspective or from the teacher's perspective?
Okay. Well, the school should be the place you don't want to leave, right? That's something we learned working at the International School of Kazan, and I absolutely agree with that kind of saying, because the facilities in our previous school, yes, they were just mesmerizing, fascinating, right? Seriously, you are surrounded by very spacious classrooms with nice like sports complexes. I mean, facilities, the swimming pool, the gym, a little garden, conservator. I mean, yeah, in terms of the facilities, it should be spacious and it should be maybe good looking. So you want to gaze at the walls, you want to gaze at the ceilings and the floors. Everything should look modern, contemporary. I think that's something that really attracts one's eyes.
All right.
In
That's the
terms of
design. That's design of the school. I mean, okay.
definitely the interior and the exterior, they should be fascinating. They should be jaw-dropping, basically. As for the management, yeah, that's actually another question. Well, it should be strict, rigorous, yes, but at the same time fair towards your actions and your intentions. And there should be equal rules for everybody. That's what I think. There should not be cases when, for example, one teacher is treated way better than, let's say, newcomers who just joined the school, right? That's not correct. That's humiliation, basically. And the more you work in this kind of environment, the more you understand how pitiful the situation might look like if you look at this from different perspective, from the different angle, right? So there should be equality, respect, and fairness. Okay. If we talk about payment, yeah, again, the same rules could be applied. The payment should be more or less on the level of what you can get in this country as an expat, right? And it should be, reasonably adjusted the more you work in this educational institution. Because without the growth, you lose the hope, you lose the motivation to inspire others and to get inspired too.
I guess that everything that you just mentioned is influence the teacher's happiness. So if you are happy and you're ready to teach, you feel comfortable, you feel safe. Actually, I think that's the thing. And maybe when you're around and you're abroad, the first organization or the first institution that will cover you and will help you, support you, that's your school, right? Because
exactly.
Of course, you can rely on your embassy, but I think that the school is the first one that will help you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That's a good point. I think that it's very good point actually, and it's very thoughtful. So now you're teaching, right? And you said that you are 30 years old right now. So how do you picture your 70s actually? Are you retiring, or are you a mentor teacher, or are you still expat teacher? Do you want to come back? Some teachers, for example, said that they're working around abroad, they get that knowledge and skill, and they want to come back to their home country and then start teaching somewhere at the village, or just give that knowledge to students that would never get that somewhere else. Or maybe you would like to be a beekeeper. I don't know. So what's your goal in that case?
That's a good question, Mr. Aidar. In my 70s, I guess I would be living somewhere by the sea. Yes, when I don't need to worry about everyday problems, about how to earn for a living, how to supply myself and my family. I would love to enjoy myself as much as I can when I'm 70 years old. Ideally, I should have sort of a passive income that I'm working on right now. And if I get one, the stable income that could cover all my expenses in the far future, I guess I would be okay. I would be all right.
I think there are also books in this topic, like how to be a successful expat teacher, how to get passive income as a being expat teacher. I think just certain books. You have to check that on Amazon, I guess. Yeah, that's a good goal, I think, and I wish you all to be successful in this and reaching.
One thing to add, actually, would I like to continue teaching in my 70s? I guess it would depend on circumstances. Like having some students and being a mentor and a guide for them would be absolutely okay. But teaching, having, I don't know, 30-hour workload, I guess no way. To be honest with you, I'm thinking of trying myself in something different. I mean, just for out of my curiosity, because teaching is enjoying and challenging and rewarding, of course, but who says this is the last thing I can do well in my life, right? And all the teachers, they should have sort of a hobby. I mean, I guess even you have lots of hobbies, like you do the gardening, yes, which actually consists of many different branches.
Who says you have pumpkins?
Yeah, exactly. Who says you have to be teaching till the end of your life? maybe you would be a successful gardener, and that would be much more enjoyable. And how can you know if it's not unless you try, right? Unless you try to, you know, to invest all of your energy into that.
Completely agree with you, Azat. I heard the phrase that's saying that the youth is giving it to you to prepare yourself for the being old times. So, but the skills that, let's say you retire, how you will get that skills immediately? You will have to work on that. So that's why during your youth time, you can work on that skills. And then when you retire, you're like, ready, I have that skills now. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, and I think it's a great point. It's a, you know, it's like a teacher's philosophy, or maybe not even teachers, everyone's philosophy of life. But we have to think about that to be ready for that time. Thank you, Azad. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that a couple more questions, and then we will finish. So,
all right.
Would you please share one story that changed everything? I mean, in the school setting, like a story that changed maybe your life, maybe students' life, or maybe school organization life. So just anything.
Yeah, definitely. So a couple of years ago, when I just started working at the International School of Kazan, yes, I was super enthusiastic to prove myself as a, you know, useful and reliable employee. You know, I went to all the classes to help other subject teachers to tackle with those who struggle with, I mean, English, with understanding English. Basically, as an ESL, EAL teacher, I have to make sure even those who have zero or almost no English, they would at least get the idea and stay on task, right? So I was definitely, I just without any kind of boasting and bragging, I can say that I was trying to do my best. I was working really, really hard. And of course, several teachers, they did notice that, and they asked me a question. Several teachers, not only one, several, maybe two or three. I don't remember quite well, but the question was as follows. Hey, Azat, look at you. You're so enthusiastic. You're still young. Why don't you try yourself overseas? We know how much you get here. It's nothing. Just think about how much you could get working as an expat. You know, having the internet, they say everything is possible. You can basically get to know everything you want, right? Including the salary levels, right? Including the way of living in different countries, working conditions, facilities in different educational institutions, and so on and so forth. But I had never ever thought of Googling and doing the inquiry about the salaries overseas. And to my surprise, I just knew that, oh my God, I could earn 5 times more I was getting. They say it's not always about the money, and money can get you happiness. Excuse me. What if you are, I mean, what if you're living your life with insufficient amount of money? Can you call yourself a happy person? I don't think so. These are just fairy tales telling, you know, young and silly kids about this. No, I disagree with that. You know, everything should be balanced, including the amount of money you get in your life, right? So that was a game changer for me a couple of years ago. And then my following up question was, how can I do that? How can I go and work overseas? What should I do to achieve this kind of level and go further? They said, okay, you have to go and register on this one and that website. You have to prepare tons of documents. They asked me, are you ready for that? To experience new cultures, to experience new cultures, new environments, to get more money, to travel. And I was like, yes, that's something I've always wanted, because I'm so curious. I'm an inquirer, as an IB Learner Profile Attributes PDF says. I'm an inquirer. I want to do something. I want to inquire more about things surrounding me. The world is not limited to only the country you are residing. You can experience much more things. right? It was an eye-opener. Seriously, Aidar, it was an eye-opener. And of course, there were some challenges, but as you can see right now, I'm sitting in front of you, not in my home country, but in a country far, far away from that home country. So basically, I achieved something I wanted, but doesn't mean I can't achieve even higher goals, more challenging ones, right?
I see, Azat, and I'm very happy actually that you accomplished everything. I know that there are a set of challenges in front of you before joining that and start that process. But you look at you, you're here now, and I'm very happy and proud of you actually. So
Thank you so much.
I think that, in my opinion, that will take several years when you settle down, change the countries, look around. But now the last question that I would like to ask you is that have you ever thought being leadership position team member or administrator at school, or do you always would like to be a teacher? Because sometimes I ask different teachers and they usually say that I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. I don't want to grow anymore. I don't want to go on that level because it's a lot of work and you will be far away from students. I don't want to be far away from students. I would like to teach them. But some people would like to jump and go and like to a new level and be an administrator, principal, director maybe. So what do you think about that? Maybe not now in 10, 15 years, but how do you look at that?
Well, that's a very good question, actually. I gave it a thought, maybe last year, quite a lot, in case I would be in somewhere else, right? To tell you the truth, yes, I have been considering this option for myself, and I would even love to try at least a coordinator's position first, because each coordinator that I have met, they either they were having like full-time teaching experience, right, dealing with students, or at least part-time, but still they have a chance to deal with students. That's something that I cannot lose being a coordinator. Another thing is, I don't think I'm smart enough to be one yet. That's the one thing that is a challenge for me right now, unless I'm empowered by a superior and more, confident educator who can guide me. Yes, no problem. But starting it from the scratch, and I mean, going and applying for a coordinator's position, having no knowledge of how to do things properly, would be, I guess, a failure. And to fail like that would be very, very disappointing for me. The second thing is, I guess I should have sort of a training, or at least a maybe, another master's, how to manage people, how to manage things. So basically, maybe I should consider doing another master's when I'm done with the master's I'm doing right now. Yes, I would like to try. Yes, as a conclusion, I would like to try, but I first need some knowledge and guidance. Secondly, I need proper education and motivation to do that.
I see, Azat. I appreciate your answer. Thank you so much. I wish you all the to be successful in this journey, and I think that you accomplish all your goals. Now we are at the end of our interview, and I would like just to ask you: do you consider any question that you would like to answer, but I didn't ask you that?
I guess you asked pretty much always. I mean, pretty much all the things I wanted to hear and wanted to answer, basically, unless you have any additional questions, some bonus questions, something which is off top, but up to you.
I'm just, it's my personal, maybe out of record, but just, so you are in Japan now, and I know that people, when they travel, they also change because of the culture, but you're living there, right? Almost a year, I guess now. So
Yes.
how that influence your character, your habits, your attitude, especially, that's a cultural influence on your personal character. That's the question.
Well, maybe I should start with. I mean, I already mentioned that everything is clean here, beautiful gardens, polite people. maybe I should start answering the question by saying that I also started being more respectful and more attentive, maybe even more vigilant and alert in a good way, yes, towards things surrounding me. I started enjoying, the weather, the sunshine, even the rain. You see, when you are too much, encumbered with work, you sometimes just ignore and, neglect things surrounding you. Maybe I've started being more
happy,
more emotional in terms of perceiving them, in terms of feeling it with my guts, sensing things. So I've become much more sensitive, but not in a negative way, but in terms of, yeah, look, the world is beautiful, you have to enjoy it.
That's great, Azat. I think it's a very good point to finish our interview. Thank you so much. You just attending the international educational interview with me. Thank you so much, Azat. I wish you all the best in your journey, and I wish you to see somewhere else, and we'll invite you for the second interview from different country, right?
And I hope you will invite me to your new school when you are a director, and you will guide me to be your principal or at least coordinator.
Definitely, Azat, definitely. We are ready to do that too. But this is an interview about you, not about me. So maybe next time we will talk about that. Thank you so much and goodbye.
Bye-bye.